everyone, to Mommy Needs a Break. It is a podcast for new moms who don't have it all together because, look, we don't have it together, and that's okay. I'm Megan Thomas at Meg Scoop everywhere.
And I'm Marisa Johnson at She Is Marisa J. Make sure to follow Mommy Needs a Break podcast on all platforms at MNAB Podcast. Make sure to visit our website at mnabpodcast.com and join our Patreon for as low as $3. And you will get special access to our content. You will be the first to know about all our lovely giveaways. We have amazing giveaways coming up. So make sure to check us out. Megan, what do we have today?
Well, today's episode is a special one. We're talking about abandoning your children, but coming back to them eventually, of course. Also, some tips about working with your significant other in entrepreneurship. But today's show is a little bit different. This is our best friend episode part 2 because you see these guests here. This is Marisa's best friend and her husband. They are the duo behind the renowned Horn Barbecue in Oakland, California. They've been married 5 years, right? 5 years, 2 kids.
5 years.
Yes, give it up for Matt and Juanita Horn.
Hey
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much.
Okay,
I'm so happy we finally got you.
Right, y'all are busy.
Thank you for having us.
So real quick, Juanita, give me some dirt on Marisa when she was young. Go.
Honestly,
No.
I feel like we're just locked and loaded. She's not going anywhere. You know, it's that type of friendship where we just know too much about each other.
Right. It's gonna go to the grave.
Right, the whole grave.
All right, what's up? What's our next segment, Marisa?
So our first segment of the show is Aint No Shame. It is our mommy and daddy shameful parenting moments. However, we don't shame each other because, you know, we all do it. So today, my Aint No Shame is telling your kids that you're going to leave them and never come back. Yeah. So yesterday, I actually need to go apologize to Terrell. But yesterday I got home, you know, there was no dinner made. The kids were wild. I walked in, I was like, what is going on? So I'm sitting there trying to make dinner and Halo is just grabbing me, talking like a baby, just doing the most. And I just looked at her. I've never said this before. And I was like, Halo, you know what? I'm going to leave and I'm never coming back. And of course, like everything else, it backfired on me. And she ran to daddy and she's like, Daddy, mommy's leaving. So you and Aria stay here. And mommy, I see you in 2 weeks. And I was like, what? She's like, bye, mommy. I see you in 2 weeks. And I was like, wait, you want me to leave? Like, you want me to get out of here? And she kept telling me bye all night. Like, she didn't even care that I had my bags packed in my head. Like, she was just like, whatever. I'll see you next time.
Leave me if you want to.
And I was actually ashamed because Terrell later on was like, you going to leave us? And I was like, oh, my bad. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. It just came out. I apologize. But so that's my no shame.
Don't worry. We've all felt it at one time or another, whether we've said it or not. What about you guys, Matt and Juanita? Do you guys have any shameful parenting moments?
Oh my God, where do I start?
Yeah, you know what? My daughter came in the room and I'm laying in bed. She came in there kind of early. She's like, Daddy, I'm hungry. And I'm like, all right, baby, I'll be right down there. I'll get you something to eat. And then I literally went back to sleep. And then I like woke back up. You know, it wasn't too much longer. But then I go down there and they already had the TV on and they made themselves peanut butter and jelly. And because she couldn't spread the peanut butter, it was just like the bread was like this, and it was just a little bit of peanut butter right there.
Oh,
They were both eating it, and I felt so bad. I'm like, oh no, they just went and made their own little meals, and that's my shameful parenting moment.
Oh my God.
Oh, your baby eating bread on bread, huh?
Yeah, right.
Just bread.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
That is hilarious. What about you, Juanita?
I would just say, like, I don't know, using the tablet as a babysitter.
Oh, girl.
You know, some days you just, yeah.
Some
days
you going upstairs and they up there putting movies on while you go to sleep.
I've never done that.
Last night, the night before.
Well, you were home.
So I'm downstairs. I'm like, wait, you didn't put the kids down? And she's like, Matt, I'm laying down, and I'm just hearing him upstairs running back and down. And she got her essential oils rolling and everything. I'm like, you know,
yes, yes, just laid out.
Yeah,
I do it all the time.
Laid out.
That's funny.
Sometimes you need that. Mommy time is like, look, nope, you got them. The Lord has them. There's been days like that. The Lord gonna have to watch you because I got to go lay down. Okay.
Or leave. Whatever.
But there ain't no shame in any of that. We've all done it as parents. Ain't no shame. All right, let's do some mommy tips. So today we've got an entrepreneurial couple. So I decided to go a little bit, businessy with this. And so these are just some tips from fastcompany.com for successfully starting and keeping a business going with your spouse. So one of the tips is to be clear about ownership at home and at work, because obviously you're partners in both. So one of the tips they say is to define your roles and responsibilities at home and work and divide and conquer in accordance with your skill sets. So of course, for example, I'm much better at organizing as far as okay, this goes at this time. We need to do this. These are the vaccinations that need to be done. These are the times for the appointments. I'm so much better at scheduling than my fiance is. So we know in our household, that ain't his job. And so if we were to work together, then clearly I would be the scheduler and he would not. So it's different things like that at home and work. What about you guys, Matt and Juanita? Do you guys have to define your roles at any time?
Definitely. I'm definitely the scheduler. I mean, coming from a project management background, I'm just more, the organized person in this relationship. And Matt is more of the creative, he has all of these great ideas. And I'm like, okay, let's figure out a process. Let's get this organized. Let's figure out what we're going to do with this. So,
yeah, I think, she brings that element to it where very strong organizational skills, but in terms of she executes well as well, really well. So on the creative side, that's me, but then also I see things through, execute, bring things to life. So it's naturally, that's why we work so well together.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so do you guys do that at home too? You're the what does that translate to when you're at home?
With me, I'm just I'll just order food, but then she wants to have a list of stuff. She wants a grocery list, and I'm just kind of I'm throwing things in the basket. I cook for the night. She's planning for the week. Because she said, Matt, you can't just go to the grocery store every single night.
Yeah, because when we were dating, he would just go to the grocery store every day, and I'm like,
because I was just okay, this is what we're gonna eat. This is what we're eating today. This is what we're gonna eat tonight. And I was going to do that. And she was just like, no, let's just plan it for the week. I'm like, man, I don't want to be walking around in Costco all day and all that. She enjoys that. I don't. I just do not like it. I don't like it.
It's so funny. I sent Terrell to Costco. Melanie was like, oh, you're brave. I sent him this week and I made a whole list for him. He's like, dang, I feel like an Instacart shopper. And then he came home with these big toothbrushes and all this random stuff I didn't even look at
drill,
Costco.
random stuff.
It
happens.
Well, you're not a good Instacart shopper. You done got stuff that's not on my list, sir.
Right.
0 stars for you. All right. Another tip is to avoid a total collapse of boundaries. Now, when you're in business with somebody you have a relationship with, how you communicate with each other is different, for better or worse. So if you're new at it, you got to be sensitive to appearances. Obviously, you probably shouldn't address your spouse as bae in front of the workers, right? You call each other by your first name. Probably, just because it makes people a little bit uncomfortable. Obviously, everyone knows you're married, you work together, but call each other by your first names. If you disagree on topics, most co-founders do, right? So having that discussion is not. It's not like it's not normal. You're supposed to have those. However, if there's a serious disagreement, take that offline. Take it offline. What about you guys? How about you, Marisa? Because I know you and Terrell also work together. What happens when you guys are disagreeing? Sorry, did I cut out
a little bit? Yeah, a little bit. But
yes. What happens when you guys are disagreeing? Okay.
I think we still are in that process of not taking it home. I feel like it always carries home. We could be doing something completely different, and then like, hey, what about this? What about when I said this? What about, there is no cutoff, but I think we're working on, cutting off home from work. We both have very strong opinions and very strong personalities, I think, when it comes to what we know we want. And so even like before this call, we were downstairs having a meeting, and it was just like, now we're using a program where we're putting in our tasks so we don't have to keep reminding each other to do it. Like, we're assigning each other business tasks so that it's kind of like streamlined, so we don't have to nag each other about it. Because I know for me, I forget everything because I'm watching the kids all day. And then for me, I tell him something and he says, write it down. Well, you need to write it down. You need to go write it down. So it's like we're working on a program to where we can just schedule out our task and we can knock things out like that. So hopefully that becomes more efficient in our business relationship.
What about you, Matt? Did you guys have any boundaries that you've had to be like, this, we can't say this, or we do say this, or we do this?
Those boundaries have always been respected, but there has been, as of recently in the past like week or two, she's like, you can't just kiss me on my neck like that, but it's not in front of everybody. You know what I mean? It would just be something, just like, it'll just be something, or I'll reach over and grab her, do something like that, and she'd be like, can you stop? And then we kind of laugh about it, but I'm very mindful of like those public displays of affection in front of people. We don't do that. You do have to respect those boundaries, and we do that. But even when we get home, it's just pretty much just kind of like, wrangling the kids, because it's like herding cats. And then so we're dealing with that. I was like, okay, what are we doing for dinner? Okay, well, we're going to do this for dinner, and then we'll sit down and eat, start a movie, stop it, and then start talking about business ideas every night.
Right.
And it never stops. It never stops. So.
Yeah, we just can't turn off.
Yeah. It's hard. I think when the getaways, are always important, because then it's like you're away from everything. That kind of helps us sometimes when we like completely get away with no kids.
Yeah.
We can do other stuff.
Right.
Well, that's a good point that you make, because the next tip is strive for work-life integration rather than work-life balance. Because, people always say like, oh, I have to make sure like I do this for work, I do this for my home life, and I make sure I try to balance them. But the truth is, if you're entrepreneurs and you are married to your coworker, your co-founder, then the problem is you have to make sure that you integrate everything and integrate it appropriately, because there's really no turnoff. You work together, you go home together, right? So you basically just have to make sure your work-life integration is set up. So for example, how much of an appetite do you have for tackling hard choices with your spouse? Because you're going to have to do that. How about your appetite for spending twice as much time together? Some people are not cut out for that with their spouse. So first, you should address those if you're going to get into business with each other, and have the same kind of interest. Because like you said, Matt and Juanita, y'all spend a lot of time, you go home, you wrangle the kids, and then it's back to work, right? You're at home, you're talking about work. But this is something you enjoy. This is something that both of you are working towards. So it's like, it's very gratifying at the end of the day. It is rough because you're like, sometimes I want to turn this off, but it's a mutual and it's a joint love for what you do. So that's important.
Totally.
Make sure you work-life integration. Another tip, create a kid-friendly workplace. Now, that's not always possible depending on what you do. However, your kids gonna have to come sometimes to your place, whether it's because you need to, nobody's there to watch them, or to teach them the family business. So definitely, I think that also helps with like the type of people you have working for you. If they see that this is a very, a workplace that is very like, okay, sometimes we have to have our kids here, but we put them in a conference room or we put them here, they see that you guys are really just integrating this in your life. So sometimes you gotta do that. And then the last piece, which I think is probably should have been the first, number one, get a therapist, everybody. Look, if you and your spouse want to do business together, you should probably get a therapist before y'all start, honestly. And then committing to a regular appointment, either weekly or whatever the schedule is, weekly, monthly, whatever you can accommodate, but sticking to a schedule, because that allows you to get out of this sticky stuff. Because sometimes when you in your feelings, you can't really GPS out of them unless you go to a therapist and they help you navigate that, right? So you with your lover and your coworker, it's like, look, we got to go talk to somebody that helps us to see things from a different angle. Are you guys, what about you guys? Are you guys down for therapy?
I'm all for therapy. I love it. Matt, on the other hand,
you're probably like most men, right, Matt? Like you're like,
Right.
Why do I really need to do this?
I mean, I feel like therapy will help. I kind of grew up in a family where it's like none of my family members went to therapy. So when I met, Nina, she was like probably like the first one that's ever brought it up. Like, I'm going to do it. It'll be good for us or something or that sort of thing. And, with me, I just like I reflect a lot. So like I'll go like into a quiet place and with my cigar and my bourbon or something like that. And then I'll just be in a quiet place of reflection. And that it's not the same as speaking to somebody, but it allows me to reflect and to think on things that may be concerning to me. But then, I think what she doesn't know this, and it's the truth, and I'm not just saying it, is that whenever I have conversations with her about whatever I may be dealing with, whether it pertaining to business or opening a new restaurant, buying a property, whatever we may be dealing with. So there's so many different facets to what we're doing with our company. I have a relief there. There's release of, I don't know, something from a peace standpoint where I'm just like, okay, I feel better about the situation. And she just may be like, okay, well, and I'm like, all right, cool, we're good. You know what I mean? And it's not necessarily conflict. It's just feeling the need to vent. I vent to her every night, whether it's on the couch or whether we're laying in bed or, whatever the case may be. But I always vent to her about certain things. So that's therapy for me. But I mean, if she feels like I need to go see somebody or speak to somebody professionally, like I'll try it. I'll try it,
No, that's real because
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think that's very common in Black males. I know I in the beginning forced Terrell to go to therapy with me, and I don't think it was like the best outcome because it was more so like you have to go. Versus when I just like let go and just started praying about things, I felt like therapy came in different aspects in his life, whether it be like friends or people, like even with you guys, when you guys, I hear them talking on the damn video game at night, like he's like, oh, I get a release on it, I get to play my video games and talk to Matt, and like, it just comes in so many different forms for them. I feel like, or even like creative or the business, or when he accomplishes something, it like comes in different forms. So I kind of just have to let go and stop forcing it on him. And when I did that, I felt like he became such a better person on his own, versus me like forcing him to do something that he didn't necessarily feel comfortable doing.
Yeah, I think therapy, now when I say get a therapist, it doesn't always look the same. I'll say that because sometimes it could be a mentor. It could be somebody that you look up to that's like, yo, this is a trusted person in my life I've known forever. And like, honestly, I get advice from them. There needs to be some sort of like somebody that we can talk to. Hold on, let me make sure my internet's stable here. But yeah, so somebody that we can talk to, whether it's like, an actual therapist that is licensed to do this, or an older couple that has gone through like 50 years of marriage, whatever it is, because whether you are working together or you're just trying to live together, raise kids together, I mean, we're all different people. You know what I'm saying? We process information differently. So why not? We all on the same team.
Right.
Let's make sure this team is winning in all aspects.
Right.
For real.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes, I'm about to go therapy next week, y'all. Start therapy. All right, let's talk about because this is the best friends episode. Juanita, how long have you and Marisa been friends, and how did y'all meet?
Oh man, well, we went to high school together. Gosh, I guess I'm gonna age ourselves.
I know, it's so old.
Oh my gosh. It literally feels like a lifetime ago. I want to say we've been knowing each other for like over 20 years now, right, Marisa?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, what?
Wait, how did y'all meet? Was this like on the bus? Was this like in homeroom?
How did y'all meet?
Well, I remember freshman year, I was like the newbie in in our in our high school. Marisa, I remember we had a science class together or something.
Oh yeah, Mr.
You remember
Lee?
that?
Was
Yeah.
it Mr.
Lee.
Oh yeah.
And Marisa is just Marisa, like all in the mix. And so I remember she asked me for like a pencil or something, and I was just like, oh, okay, like, okay, and I'm just like the newbie, like trying to get to know everybody. And, I guess our relationship just kind of grew from that because we just always had like the same mutual friends. We just always were kind of around each other. And our relationship grew like when we actually found out we went to college together. We literally started taking all of the same classes together.
Literally.
Wow.
Did everything together. And our relationship just grew and blossomed, and we were literally like two peas in a pod. Still are.
Aww. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how wild was Marisa pre-hubby and kids?
Oh my God.
1 to 10, we need to know.
Dang.
Don't lie to us. Inquiring minds want to know.
15.
Ooh, she put you off the scale, Marisa. 15.
I'm not ashamed because Terrell knows me. So he doesn't care.
Okay, wait. What about Juanita before Matt came in the picture? What was she on 1 to 10?
The girl was right there with me. Shoot, she was right there. She was right here.
Yeah, I was 15 in it. Okay.
It was 30 piece.
15.
Matt, what was your impression of Marisa when you first met her?
She had a lot of energy, a really great personality. Because when the fight came on, it was just, here's the thing. When she came, she was just like, hey, she introduced herself. And then it was like, hi, I'm Juanita. I said, hey, you guys come right on in. Oh, we brought something. I said, oh, yeah, just put it in there. They brought hummus. I said, yeah, I'm just going to finish barbecuing.
We brought hummus?
Whatever. Yeah.
Remember we were on the Daniel fast?
And, I was just like, all right, well, you guys just go hang out. We'll be in there. Make yourself at home, that sort of thing. As soon as the fight comes on, she was just like, God, get, go, God. And we were just like, man, she was there going, like, yeah, she's going ham. And then as I got to know her, I really didn't know her, but as I got to know her, I'm just like, you know what? She's cool. She's good people. You know what I mean? Like, I had love for her. You know what I mean? And then it grew from there. But she was cool. Man. I mean, she was like, yeah, about business, to be honest with you. That's one thing I respect about her. That's one thing I respect about her the most is that she's about business. You know what I mean?
No bullshit.
Okay. Now, Juanita, what is a crazy story you could tell us about Marisa when you guys were younger?
Oh my God.
Just give me one. I know there's probably a bunch. Just give me one. That ain't gonna get her divorced or ain't gonna get y'all put in jail. Okay.
There was a time Marisa, remember that trip we went to for Latrice's graduation? We went down to LA. We went to, it was this strip club, and I don't even know if it's still open.
Right track.
The right track.
Open.
The right track.
The right track. That sounds terrible.
I don't remember where it was.
Oh my gosh.
It was in the middle of the hood somewhere, and we went to the right track. And then afterwards, there was like a turn up. Like, I don't know, we were like in the parking lot or something. Marisa was like, she was going hyphy, going dumb, and she broke her toe in the midst of that. She broke her toe.
She broke her toe going hyphy?
She broke her toe, and the next day when she had to catch her flight back home, they had to put her in a wheelchair.
I got to cut the line.
You was the pre-board. You was the pre-board girl with a broke toe. Oh.
But it's so funny because there's a picture of all of us like on all fours on a car. It wasn't even our car. Like just, I don't even know. I don't know what we were doing.
Wow.
I think our like aunts and stuff was with us too. Like grown women were with us. Like, and we were just like, I don't know. I don't know what we were doing.
Wait, so you broke you had to go to the ER that
Yes.
night? Like,
no, I didn't no, it wasn't an ER situation, but it was broke. It was broke.
How you know it was broke? Did you go to the
Girl, it was swollen. It was broke. I couldn't walk on it. It was broke. It was blue.
Really broke your toe. That's how you know you
Broke
was out here being fast with your little broke toe.
Oh, yeah, super fast. Didn't even care.
So I want to ask you. So knowing Marisa as long as you've known her, how do you think she's changed from when you guys were younger to now being a mom, a wife, and entrepreneur?
Honestly, I feel like we've grown together. You know, we've gone through all of those various stages in life that, you know, women typically just go through. And, you know, I'm really proud of her and the growth that she's just an amazing woman, amazing entrepreneur, you know, wife. And I'm just excited to see where, you know, she's going to go this next chapter in her life. So.
And I honestly couldn't do it without Juanita. Like literally, I've probably told this story on the podcast before, but it was like, I only had the courage to get married because I saw her married with a little baby. Like literally talked to her right before I made that step in my life. Like, okay, I'm going to his house. I know once I go here, I'm never turning back. And she's sitting there rocking the baby like, yes, girl, do it. But I literally just told my mom this story the other day of like, Juanita looked at me and was like, could you honestly see Terrell living a life with someone else that he could have given you? And I was just like, no, I can't. It's like, I gotta go. I gotta get out the streets. And so like, I honestly couldn't do it. I wouldn't have been able to do it without Matt swooping Juanita from me, taking away my best friend and leaving me in the cold, which gave me the courage to become a wife.
Yes. Thank you,
seriously.
Juanita, for keeping her from these streets. Thank you. Thank you.
So anyways, we're going to switch gears. Enough about me. Yes. So you guys are the owners of Horn Barbecue. Tell us a little bit about the background of Horn Barbecue, how it got started, the backstory, you know, leading up to what it is now.
All right. Well, Horn Barbecue literally started off as an idea. You know, we were both living in LA at the time, dating, and Matt was just like, you know, started off with that bad batch of ribs that you made me. So Matt, you know, when we were dating, he was just like, I want to cook for my girlfriend. And, you know, he was just like, okay, I'm going to throw some stuff on the Weber. And
the Weber?
He got a slab of ribs. He got a slab of ribs, threw it on there, and, you know, was just super excited, took it off and got like some barbecue sauce and just spread it on there and, you know, made some sides to go with it. And he's like, here, you know, here's your food. Like, let's watch a movie. And, you know, we started eating and I wasn't really feeling the ribs, you know, and he looked over at my plate and he was just like, why aren't you eating? What's wrong? And he's like, you know, is something wrong? What's wrong? And I'm like, you know, the ribs are kind of tough, you know, like I think they need a little more time. And honestly, I feel like something clicked in him after that. And he was just like, okay, it's like that perfectionist in him. And he drove up to his grandmother's backyard in Fresno every weekend to barbecue and just to perfect that craft. And, you know, that just kind of, that flourished in him. So after that, he signed up for the farmer's market when we moved up to the Bay. We were living in Tracy at the time. And, you know, we didn't even know if people were going to like the food, but did that. And after that, we were like, okay, well, let's tap into, you know, doing some, you know, festivals and then doing like the underground pop-ups. So we did that in like breweries, wineries, things like that throughout like Oakland and San Francisco. And food bloggers started visiting our pop-ups and we literally just grew from there. And we've been doing, you know, sold out pop-ups for about 4 years now. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's been an amazing journey. It's been definitely trying, you know, especially with us opening the restaurant. You know, it took us over a year to open the restaurant, you know, going through various challenges with the city. But, you know, we're finally here and we're finally open. We've been open for about 4 weeks now. So It's unreal. It's unreal.
How is it? How is it actually now that you guys, like, as opposed to doing pop-ups, now you have an actual like location that you have to be every week? How has that been?
Honestly, for me, I feel like it's unreal. Like, I drive up every morning and I see people lined up at like 7 a.m, to get food. Yeah. And we don't open until 11. And so they're literally camped out, and it's still unreal to me. What about you, Matt?
No, I mean, from doing the pop-ups and now I have the restaurant, because people would always be like, well, it's different from a pop-up running a restaurant. It's easy to have the restaurant. It's easy to do the barbecue. The challenge that you have is just all the other stuff, where it's like getting so many different people to mesh. We have a staff of about 16 right now. So it's like getting everybody to mesh, work together, systems, processes. That's the thing that's where your challenges are. But then also being conscious of food costs, cost of goods, that sort of thing. Because, you're dealing with really thin margins in the restaurant business. But it's like, it's a blessing. I mean, people are lining up for the food. And we're in a pandemic where restaurants are shutting down.
Right.
And we have long lines. And still, after all these years. So we just go into this thing humbly, and we just execute day in and day out. And that's all we could do. Is just deliver excellence.
Amen. Especially from that bad batch of ribs to your own location. Look at you, man.
Yeah, I want to tell you something about those ribs. They didn't taste bad. They was just a little tight.
It's okay, Matt.
They were just a little tight.
It's all right.
No, they were bad.
Your little tough ribs got the girl, and they got the whole business. You won, man. You won.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You brought up, having some troubles getting the business open. And thankfully now, you're open now. But what are some of the lessons that you learned during this process that, you can share with people that may be going through something similar or interested in opening up a restaurant?
I'm not going to say, well, if you're going to get in the restaurant business, it's hard. Everybody says that. Everybody, let's just be real about it. If you want to get into the restaurant business and you have a desire to get into the restaurant business, get into the restaurant business, do it. Go for it. Try to open up your own business. If you don't have any culinary training, figure out what it is that you're going to do, what specific cuisine that you're going to focus on. Focus on that, study it. You want to master it. You don't want to go into anything, kind of half-assed. You want to be, have a sense of understanding and be versed into, what it is that you're going to do. I didn't go to culinary school. I didn't have a background in cooking or anything like that. I would just cook spaghetti and noodle. Be honest with you, I cooked so many noodles. I didn't doctored up noodles my whole life, where I'm just like, that's what I was doing that. So it's like making eggs and bacon. It wasn't nothing special, but it was like, that's what I was doing. And I enjoyed that. But it was a bunch of detail that I put in, mixing, those seasonings and stuff with my top ramen noodles. But here's the thing. If you figure out, like, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to, whether it's a food truck or a brick and mortar or going to a farmer's market, that sort of thing, just go for it. If you close your eyes and envision whatever it is you want to accomplish in life, you can achieve it. Those tools have already been deposited in you. Don't let anybody discourage you. Stay focused. You want to follow the light at the end of the tunnel, but when you can't see that light, you have to walk by faith, plain and simple. That's how we were able to fight every single day for a year to get our restaurant open, because no matter if it would have took another year or two or whatever the case may be, we weren't going to give up, because we finish what we start. Those are the principles that we're teaching our children. You finish what you start in life. That's what I grew up on. And we weren't going to walk away from it because we had so much vested into it, because we were serious about barbecue. So not to go on a long spiel, but literally just if you have a vision for something, just go after it, do it. That's that.
That's good. That's good. That's really good advice, because I know there's a lot of people who, especially during a pandemic, people are like, why would I start a business now? And to be honest with you, this is the best time. Okay.
Oh yeah.
You have nothing. You have no distractions. You are at home. This is the best time to come up with your business plan and to execute it, So yeah, congratulations to y'all. And I know you guys were talking.
You.
We talked about this earlier about, you know, like working with your spouse, but what can you guys give us as pros and cons of actually working with each other?
Would you have to go?
I think how you guys touched on earlier, I think it's important to have that integration point, you know, and make sure that that is really clear. And then also have date nights. Even though we do spend like a crazy amount of time together, it's important to just like set aside some time, like away from the kids, and still like do the date nights and still like do married couple things, because it's important to continue to nurture your relationship. So I feel like that's really important. As far as a con, no, I don't think I really have a con. What about you?
I mean, maybe the cons of working together as a spouse. I mean, the husband and wife thing. I think maybe just like, for some people, it may just be spending too much time together, right? But then on the flip side of that, if you enjoy the person that you're spending the time with, naturally, and this is just to be honest, you get burned out with people. Sometimes you just need like some time alone and that sort of thing. But it's like if you're enjoying the person, it just depends on the relationship dynamic. Because before we got married, one of the things that really attracted me to her was the fact that the conversations that we had were so deep and in depth. So it's like now we still have those conversations today. I love speaking with her as much as I love speaking to God. You know what I mean? It's just like, this is the way I feel about her. Yeah. So, and that could be for some people where it's like, okay, it's too much time with my spouse, but I enjoy it. And then the pros of it is just like, we're able to just navigate through things together, you know, because when we weren't working together, I would come home and then she would come home after dealing with everything she's dealing with. And I'm like, then we would have to navigate through stuff. And I'm telling her how I'm feeling and these ideas. And she never turned me away. She would just and she would offer advice. And so I think it's good, but yeah, I enjoy it.
I think that's good.
Look at y'all. Y'all so cute.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
I think that goes along with marrying someone that you're friends with, in a sense. Because I think about like me and Terrell when we weren't married, and that's what we did too. We would sit and we would talk about ideas and concepts and, like, will you look over this for me? Will you look up, like, we were each other's soundboards. And so although sometimes it gets frustrating, the actual work part of things and the hurdles and the things you can't control basically when it comes to being an entrepreneur, like, I think we are at our happiest and our best when we are flourishing within our business, and not necessarily like the money and things like that, but like when we're executing each other's ideas and on our ideas and visions are coming to life, because then it goes back to the beginning when we got together and we talked about these things and we dreamed about these things. And then like we're watching it, you know, come to fruition. So I think it's, you know, important to have that foundation of friendship before even, you know, deciding to get married. But I think that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yes. So legacy is such an important topic right now in the Black community. What are some hopes and dreams for your children, Matt and Leilani, as they watch you guys during this growth stage in your life?
I feel like
I'm joking. Nothing.
I feel like for me, I just want them to see how hard we work for them and ultimately their grandchildren, their children, and their grandchildren, and to know that we care about them, we care about their life, we care about our family, you know, and it's just so important to leave a legacy because you really don't see much of that, unfortunately, anymore in the Black community, just as far as legacies go and family businesses. And that's what we're ultimately trying to cultivate in our family is, you know, create the generational wealth and bring that back.
Same. Same. Go ahead.
No, Matt, you have a junior. You have a junior, so you have to elaborate.
Well, the thing about it is because she knows this is something that's real big with me is like, you want to break the chain and you want to definitely create generational wealth, but then also passing down that knowledge generationally. So it's like, I'm not thinking about me. I mean, the moment that she birthed our children, I'm thinking about my great grandchildren. And I'm thinking about that's where my mind is. So it's like what I build will benefit them, but it's like, how do I groom my children so that they can properly receive it, not be left in a situation where it's just thrown in their laps. They need to earn that, and then they need to appreciate it, because that's why you see with companies and restaurants and businesses that, the older generation have passed on, and then you get the next generation that may not appreciate it, and then a lot of the times it's often lost after that. And you're like, well, how do you address that? Well, you address that by properly grooming your children to be able to understand, okay, this is what was the sacrifices that was put into building this foundation, but then also this is your responsibility for the next generation, and so forth. And then you teach that these business principles. I mean, that's the most important thing, is for them to really truly understand that, versus just be given or handed to them. It needs to be earned. That's something that's really big with me, because it hasn't been easy. What we've accomplished to this point, we're grateful for the position that we're in. And we're rolling out a bunch of different concepts. And, we have our hospitality group that's been formed. But it's like, all of that is literally, we're building this to inspire the next generation, but also our children as well. So they have to earn this. Once they get that, and they take it and work in a sense of integrity and pride, and, not just, oh, mom and dad built this company or whatever, and that's that.
Right. It's interesting. It's interesting. You say that. We have a lot of conversations with our neighbors who are all mostly entrepreneurs, and we're always like, how do we build this fabricated adversity for these kids? Because it's like, a lot of my neighbors are from like Compton and, Watts and all these things. And like, they're successful, and their kids have a completely different life than them. And they're like, how do we manufacture adversity? How do we make these kids like go through something, even though they really don't have to go through anything, So it's just interesting you say that, like, making them earn things, because like we're always talking about this with our friends, about like building this manufactured struggle, even though we're working so hard that they don't struggle. So it's like this, it's this balance that we're still trying to figure out with our kids, for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. What I want to ask you though, I want to ask y'all something about like the kids. I know you bring them to work sometimes. How are they with the business? Are they like, this is fun, we're tired, we want to go home, or I want to learn how to make this, let me stir? Like, how are they with when you guys take them to work?
They love it. They're so excited about just being at the restaurant. They're always talking about it. And even today, Leilani, this morning, I was like, Leilani, I have to go. I'm going to the restaurant. She's like, again? Okay, can I come tomorrow? Like, they love it. They love it. So, every opportunity that we get to bring them down, we try to, just so they can, see everything that's going on, and, have interaction with our employees, and, just really, really be involved.
I love what y'all are doing. Let me tell you why. Because I'm from Kentucky, and I grew up in a barbecue restaurant. My godparents had like the big barbecue restaurant in the city that was like a mom and pop. And when I say the city, I'm talking about like Radcliffe, Kentucky, that had like 20,000 people. But like their spot was the spot. Okay. And they were just a couple that had been married forever. My godfather was really good at making barbecue. So he was like, let's just open this. And that was my first job at 14, was working at this barbecue joint. And it just like, it brings me memories, because of course, people gather around food, whether it was like me learning how to clean chitlins for chitlin night, or whether it was like this lady giving me 20, it's disgusting, by the way, disgusting. Or like this lady giving me 27 cents in pennies as my tips. Like, I have some really fond memories at a barbecue restaurant, or eating ribs every day for lunch, because I was like, that's what I'm going to choose as my, my meal for the day. So I love everything y'all are doing. And when I come to Oakland, I'll be in the line. Can I hop the line though? Can I hop the line?
How'd you feel? We got you. We'll take.
Just hit us up.
I want to ask you, when you were working in Kentucky, and that, how'd you feel working there?
Oh,
How did
you
you
know, I
feel when you
loved it.
were?
It was just a like a home feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like a good down home, country happy feeling because it was a family. You know, the owners, they were married, they had to work together, but because of their relationship, I think it flowed out to everything else. It flowed out to how they treated us. It flowed out how they treated their customers, and people just wanted to come back. And it just was a very, it was great. It was very successful for many years. And I still remember that mac and cheese. It's the best, and the ribs. So yeah,
Wait,
so you guys are doing the same
what?
thing.
Your audio went out. What did you say?
Oh, sorry. I said the mac
She
and
knows the
cheese and the
the
ribs
mac
were
and
like
cheese.
my favorite. It's just I can taste them to this day. That's still probably why I'm chunky. But it was great. It was great.
I'm still waiting for you guys to put something on the menu I can eat. Megan asked the other day, wait, what do you eat when you go there?
Like, yeah, why you be going there? What you mean? You just buy the spices. You can buy the spices, right?
I did buy the spices. I bought 2.
See, there you go. There you eat the spices, Marisa. I do have a question about you guys have partnered with multiple brands like Yeti and Made In. What are some of the things that you look for when you decide which company you want to partner with?
I mean, I think company values, culture, the actual product, the intention to the product, the details, the craftsmanship. I mean, you look at Yeti. Yeti is the leader in our country with with the products that they're putting out, and it's just like those products that they put out.
Wait, question. You mean Yeti like the microphones?
No,
or like
the
the
coolers.
tumblers, like
the coolers and the tumblers, yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say, I was like, which Yeti? Okay, the coolers, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like you look at that. They're putting out great product, and then with Made In, those guys over there, Jake and Chip, they have an amazing team. But it's just like what they're going through to produce their product is just extraordinary. So that's why you have these copper saute pans, and you have the blue carbon steel, and you have literally. We did this collab. We literally did this collab with Made In with the sheet tray, and it's just like what they're putting out and the stuff they're doing. And a lot of people may look at it where it's like, okay, it's just a sheet tray, but it's something that's essential that everybody uses in their home, whether they're preparing food for their family or just cooking. It's something that we all use, and for them to be intentional with that and the fine details of something so simple. It tells you the character of the company and the individuals behind it. So we try to partner with brands and companies that are aligned with who we are, things that make sense. I mean, so a lot of that will roll out. We're going to roll a lot of that out, but it's just like we're very strategic with who we partner with. I mean, we've been approached by a bunch of different people, different companies, but if it doesn't make sense for me, it's not aligned with the brand, then I won't do it.
That's dope that you have that. Like, can you tell us some of the things that you've done? Like what kind of products that you've done in collaboration with other companies?
Yeah. So, we did Made In. We did, so I'm an ambassador with Yeti. And so we're going to be working on some future projects. We did the rub. So when we released the Horn rub, we did that. And then what that led to was, I'm going to be rolling out some stuff with a company called Spiceology. Is one of the largest spice providers. So we're partnering up. I did this collab. This is my sister's company. It's called Certainly Soap. And she's doing handcrafted soap. And our idea literally was to do this charcoal and tallow soap. So when we did that, we were able to produce a bar this bar right here is literally, something that works with Horn Barbecue, but it's aligned with who we are. But then it's simple. But when people see this and they're like, wait, charcoal and tallow, it aligns with the brand. So like we're going to be rolling out a collection. That's actually one of the companies that we're going to be working with a lot with Horn Hospitality. But
keep it
just
in the
things
family.
like that. She's, yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And just stuff like that. And then we have all of our merch and everything like that. So we're working on partnerships there. We're getting ready to release our online store with a bunch of different products. So it's just like we're very strategic in that way. But yeah.
Wait, do you guys have a barbecue sauce that I could buy?
Oh, remember you had a sauce?
Developed. Yeah. It's being developed right now.
Yes.
Is
you know what's so
is
funny?
it vegan? Is it vegan? Can I put it?
We will have. So we will. So here's the thing. So there's some stuff we're working on. Some options, definitely some vegan options. So we're we don't want to leave anything on the table.
All right. Whew. I've been waiting like 5 years. Well, I'm so proud of you guys. This is great. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so happy that you guys finally got the restaurant. We had the opportunity to go there, and literally it brought me to tears. All the beautiful pictures, all the details in the design. Like, you can tell that so much love has been poured into that space. So I encourage everyone to check them out when you're in Oakland. Do you deliver?
No, we don't.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, go over there and buy something. But no, make sure you check them out. Maybe we'll get a promo code and cut the line.
Line code.
Every one of my family members like, wait, if I go, can I like cut the line? Like, can you text her? I'm like, that's probably
the question y'all get the most. Can I cut the line?
Can I cut this line? So what is next? What's next for Horn Barbecue? Or Matt Horn or Juanita Horn. I'm waiting to see Juanita up on the big billboard.
Well, next week we're actually planning on doing a community giveaway for the people of Oakland. So we'll be doing some pre-made meals, and we have a bunch of volunteers will be coming out on Monday to help us roll that out. So I feel like it's really important for us to, we not only have a restaurant in the community, but we need to be a part of the community as well. Yeah. So, there's a lot of people out there that are in need. It's really hard times right now, and it's up to us to take care of our community. So, really looking forward to that and rolling that out. And what else do we have going
on? So we have a few more concepts that are rolling out next year. So we're excited about opening that up. The spice line, starting a production company. So we found a really dope partner in that, really big partner in that. So it's just to really create some really dope content.
That's good.
Yeah, we're building. We have our line of hornware. We're opening up and then also a brand called House of Throne. Our online store is going to relaunch. Yeah, so working on that.
So much history.
That's dope.
Bringing it back.
Yeah.
Bringing it back.
Yeah.
Wait, so question. Excited. If anyone wants to buy any of these, can they get them online? And if so, where?
Yeah, I would say, so right now, if you go to hornbarbecue.com, our website is there, but we're going to be launching an online store for Black Friday. So you could, if you go on the Horn Barbecue at Instagram.com or Matt Horn X, just Matt Horn X, and if you go on there, you could get updates and everything. But we're gonna literally roll everything out through our social media. So if anybody's following us, follow us on social media, follow us on the website, and we'll have the information there. Everything's on social media.
Awesome.
Well, all right.
Yay. Well, we have one more segment of our show, and it's called I'm Fine. It is our moment where we like to give a little inspiration to ensure that you are having, the best week you can possibly have. So in the spirit of entrepreneurship, I have your work is going, actually, hold on. Let me open this up. Let me see. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to do what you love. And that is from the infamous Steve Jobs. And I just feel like, all of us are entrepreneurs here. We all are in fields that are, take a lot out of us. But at the end of the day, if it's what we love, then, we're going to do great work. So it's just a little inspiration for the entrepreneurs out there.
Oh, yes. That's what we need. So thank you guys so much for taking a break with us, and everyone listening and watching. We hope that you'll take a break again with us next week, because we got more lit shows with amazing mommy and daddy guests. You can follow our guest where on Instagram and social media?
Yep, we're on Instagram, Facebook, Horn Barbecue, at Horn Barbecue.
With a C, not a Q.
Yeah.
C.
Barbecue spelled out.
Barbecue with a C.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Barbecue is spelled with a C. People always spell it with a Q, but like the real way is with a C.
Yeah.
I'll be forgetting about that. Thank you for clarifying.
Definitely.
Because it would have been a lot of people like, y'all don't have no website. So thank you.
Right.
HornBarbecue.com. Make sure you check them out. I'm Megan Thomas at Meg Scoop everywhere. And if you want some exclusive footage and giveaways, be sure to click our Patreon link and become a patron. Support this podcast.
And I'm Marisa Johnson. You can follow me at She Is Marisa J. And make sure to follow Mommy Needs a Break at MNAB Podcast all over the internet. And make sure to follow our website at mnabpodcast.com. And we will see you next time.
Bye.